Okay, so Mizkif is got an update regarding the abuse stuff with Emiru. You know, have two videos covering it. We did Emiru's video opening up about it, or her Twitch VOD, and then Mizkif responded, and we watched his pathetic response. And it seems like once that didn't work, this happened, where Mizkif is now suing Asmongold, Emiru, and OTK. And, like, first thoughts on the surface, he has no case. Like, I know where this is going. He's gonna try to sue them for defamation because he has been quote-unquote defamed. But, Emiru didn't lie, and there has to be lying regarding defamation. There's, like, a whole other, a lot of things. Defamation is, like, really difficult to prove in America, so I don't imagine this is going to go well for Mizkif, but we're watching a video going over it from this guy named 15 Minutes of Shame. This video is 15 minutes, so I guess that's the gimmick of the channel. But yeah.
What's up, everybody? In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the lawsuit that Mizkif just filed. And for those who don't know, Mizkif is a large content creator who has been completely demolished in the last few weeks after his ex-girlfriend, another content creator by the name of Emiru, accused him of being violent and being an abuser. Now, he came out and said, well, you know what? She was violent too. She was throwing plushies at me. And since that moment,
you know, like I said, it's the secret weapon of the Russians. You know, they throw plushies. It's over for America. It's Jover for Ukraine. You know, they've got plushies. It's the secret fucking weapon. You know, you guys are misunderstanding Mizkif here.
He has been the laughing stock of the internet. People are making meme songs about him, and he decided to do a interesting move, which is a defamation lawsuit against Emiru and Asmongold.
I really don't think that Mizkif has any case for defamation whatsoever here. Just because, like, you have... Let's go over the basics of a defamation lawsuit, because I actually have the tab pulled up. Okay, so this is from NewYorkCityBar.org. You could probably get this legal information anywhere. I don't imagine it's going to change that much from state to state. I'm not a legal expert, though, so somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But what are the elements of a defamation case? The defendant made a false and defamatory statement that he knew or should have known was false. Emiru did not do that. All of Emiru's statements have been pretty accurate. I have not seen her lie at all. I have not heard any lies from her whatsoever. She's been fairly credible about everything she's talked about. So that bulletin point is not valid. The false statement clearly identified the target. Vague statements cannot be construed about a particular person. If you're ever wondered why the films disclaim that any resemblance to actual living people is coincidental, it is to dispel any notion that they are clearly identifying a person for malicious statements. So Emiru's obviously identifying Mizkif. That would be true, but again, everything she has said is true. The defendant published the defamatory statement to at least one third party who is not the target. If the publication is written, the defamation is libel. If the publication is oral, the defamation is slander. None of it is slander. The defamation damaged the character. So just to be clear, just because Mizkif has lost his reputation and just because it was public, doesn't mean everything that was said was defamatory. And I feel like that's just important context to bring up.
Without further ado, let's take a look at the lawsuit. All right, so first let's establish the parties. Shunk is the girl Emiru, and Hoyt is Asmongold.
Yeah, these are the last names of them, because I know Asmongold's real name is Zach, so it would be Zach Hoyt. And Emiru is Emily Shunk.
And their business is...
Bro, I saw somebody in, like, a chat that I saw somebody in Papa Guts chat say, like, you know, Shunk is a funny last name because it literally sounds like a grenade launcher. Shunk! Like, just think about that. It's like an M203 grenade launcher on, like, an M4A1 or something. That's the sound effect that last name sounds like. Once you hear it, like, you can't unhear it.
Is in Texas. Now the plaintiff is Matthew Rinaldo, which that's Mizkif. Then he has his company, Mizkif Enterprises, and the company that he was working for or with is called OTK, which belongs to Asmongold and a couple other YouTubers. Now, let me just say the first thing that comes to mind when I saw this is that it's only 12 pages, which is not much for a lawsuit.
I thought it was 10 pages. I mean, I don't know, 10, 12 pages. It's still, like, either way, it's not that long.
It doesn't look like that much effort went into this, in my own opinion, and it kind of looks rushed and last minute. All right, let's take a look at the factual background. For the past decade, Matthew Ronaldo has been working tirelessly to build a career in the demanding live streaming and content creation field, primarily on YouTube, a video sharing platform, and Twitch, a live streaming platform. Through years of effort, Ronaldo built his online presence under the handle Mizkif.
Which, by the way, the only relevance of fame that Mizkif has had is by collaborating with Emiru or other members of OTK. Like, he got platform because of them. Like, without them, he'd be fucking nothing.
Leading him to a multi-million follower presence across various social media platforms, Ronaldo's entire professional life has, during all relevant times, centered around streaming and content creation. Ronaldo became one of the most successful creators on Twitch with a following of 2.2 million viewers as of October 25.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but again, he got help from other people to get there. He couldn't do it himself because he's not that interesting, and once more people get more viewers than he does, he just throws a tantrum. He doesn't try to do better from it. He doesn't try to improve himself. He just shuts down.
He was known for collaborating with other streamers, playing video games, and discussing various issues with his followers and subscribers through Twitch's chat feature. In 2021, he won Best Just Chatting Streamer at the Streamer Awards. The community that Ronaldo developed, along with his industry connections with other streamers, his personal reputation, and his business goodwill, allowed him to develop a successful business with multiple income streams from subscribers, ad placements on his videos, sponsorships, and more. In 2020, along with other high-profile streamers, Ronaldo founded the One True King media brand.
He found it with Asmongold and I believe a few others, yeah.
And incorporated Defendant OTK, which he remains a part owner to this day. Defendant,
I think it was Esfand and Asmongold were the other co-founders of OTK.
Shunk joined the OTK ownership in 2022. Through the acts and omissions described below, defendants Shunk, Hoyt, and OTK have, acting in concert, wrongfully and basely accused Ronaldo of serious criminal activity for no purpose other than to harm him, his reputation, and his business. And rest from...
So just to be clear, Emiru showed a lot of proof. I legitimately feel like Mizkif is, like, really fucking himself over with this lawsuit. Like, this is just, like, a last-ditch effort because nothing else is working. So he's gonna try to sue them. And I think it's kind of pathetic, honestly, to try to sue Emiru for this. And Emiru knew that this was a possibility. And, well, that's what this seems like. But I don't think Mizkif has a case here because Emiru showed a lot of proof that backed up a lot of her claims. Yeah, dude, Mizkif is really fucking himself over here.
Him control of the companies that he helped build. Ronaldo and defendant Shunk began dating in 2022. The relationship was not easy on either side. They would routinely face harassment from Shunk's followers, some of whom were stalking Shunk.
This situation is specifically referring to the fact that, like, Mizkif was blaming Emiru for having stalkers, and they were saying, you know, this is risky. You know, he was essentially blaming her for having stalkers. Like, it would have been one thing if he asked her to maintain, like, a low profile, but that's not what he did. Instead, he was, like, literally shaming her for having stalkers and saying that, like, you know, why do you keep posting these videos online? Why do you keep enticing them to do this or whatever? And he was, like, trying to make it their fault.
They got into arguments regularly, and Shunk threatened to off herself in many of these arguments.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, you shouldn't say that about yourself, and you shouldn't feel that way about yourself, but I also can sympathize with Emiru. One, because she has a lot of credibility, And two, she probably was overwhelmed in the relationship. I mean, it was fucking extraordinarily abusive, and it was terrible, and she probably felt overwhelmed by both the stalkers and by, like, Mizkif going after her constantly. So I can understand and sympathize why Emiru would feel that way.
Shunk would dress and behave in ways that Renato thought made her unsafe in light of the ongoing stalking from some of her followers.
Dude, this document is written so clumsily. Who the fuck did Mizkif get as a lawyer? Like, Mizkif, this document seems very rushed because it's like she would dress in ways that he thought made her feel unsafe from the stalkers. Dude, he is still doubling down on the fact that she is at fault for having stalkers. He's doubling down on that. He is actually, like, really fucking himself over here so badly.
At the end of the relationship, Shunk expressed her desire to marry Renato and raise children within the next 5 years. Renato, contemplating the tumultuous nature of their relationship to that point, could not agree to do so. He called off their relationship and moved from Austin to Los Angeles in January 2025.
I think the strategy that Mizkif is going to use here is he's going to try to build a story with this case. He's going to try to be like, you know, Emiru wanted to do this with me. She wanted to do that with me. She wanted to marry me. She was so interested in me in all these, like, different ways. I think the strategy is going to be to try to show her interest in some capacity, to build the story that, like, oh, but then she looked back on it very weirdly, and that she wasn't giving statements. She was giving statements that didn't fully match what actually happened or whatever. I think that's going to be the strategy. I don't agree with it. You know, I quite frankly don't think that's what happened at all. You know, I'm more on Emiru's side here. But I do believe that's the strategy that Mizkif is going to use. And if that is the strategy Mizkif is going to use, it's really going to fuck up his story a lot. Because he has to build a story about how he was, like, a very creative content creator or whatever. Or he has to build up the story about how, oh, you know, the relationship is great, even though, like, he spent, like, 7 months nonstop messaging her when she wouldn't contact him. He would literally, like, at this point, it was, like, a form of harassment. Like, the amount of messaging her saying, like, Emiru, please call me, please, Emmy, call me, or whatever, and, like, talk to me, or whatever. And they wouldn't communicate for, like, 7 months or whatever. Emiru was, like, just nonstop harassing him. Or, sorry, no, Mizkif was nonstop harassing her. That's what I meant to say. I misspoke. Sorry about that. That's what I meant to say.
But just to give you a little bit of clarification.
But yeah, no, that's really going to be, like, a huge hole in Mizkif's narrative here. Like, I actually feel like and another thing that I forgot to mention, Mizkif spent a huge part of his career tearing down other people as well. And there's a lot of other people that corroborated this as well. So, like, him saying, like, he has been, like, very good, like, business partner, and he's been, like, very great in this Twitch platform. Like, the more holes you have in your narrative, the more I just do not see this holding up in a court of law. Like, if this keeps up, if Mizkif has more holes in these, like, legal papers, he is, like, everything is going to get ruined about him. Financially, he's going to get fucking ruined. Reputation-wise, he's going to get ruined. Just everything about his life is basically over, like, after this lawsuit. Like, he actually is making this so much worse for him.
There are videos that resurfaced of him banging on the door while she was live streaming, and the best accusation he can come up with is that she threw plushies at me, and that's why he instantly became a meme. Take a look at this.
We haven't pillaged. I'm ashamed that the situations got so bad.
Yeah, and I mean, this was after the, whatchamacallit, the Rust streams. They were playing Rust, and they were like, I'm excited for the Rust event. Then Emiru got more views than him. Him breaking shit around the house and him destroying shit in the house, that's fucking insane. That's crazy.
But Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I punched holes in the walls or slammed doors in aggression.
If there's only one lesson to learn from this, is never confess to the internet that you are emotionally distressed because she threw plushies at you, or else you'll immediately be turned into this. Anyways, enough screwing around. Let's get back to the lawsuit. 10 months later, on October 24, 2025, Shunk hosted a live stream on Twitch. On the live stream, she lied and baselessly accused Renato of psychological and domestic abuse.
Yeah, so based on the video evidence you just showed us of like the punching holes in the walls and then like everything, and like the driving, there's also like other people that can corroborate the story of like driving at a, like, what is it, 100 or 150 miles per hour or some shit like that in the car. Like, I'm pretty sure the same thing happened with Maya. Maya hinted that Mizkif did that in her relationship with him. And the same thing, like, with Emiru and Mizkif as well. I'm pretty sure that the same thing happened where he was, like, threatening to speed up the fucking car. Like, there's multiple people corroborating this story, so that's going to be, like, tough to... I don't think Mizkif can't prove that particular allegation wrong. That's going to be more of, like, he said, she said, and then they're going to have to meet in the middle somewhere. That's typically how these things go. Same for the sexual assault thing, which the creator is about to bring up here.
Stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail. These slanderous accusations were made live before an audience of tens of thousands and have since been viewed millions of times across various platforms. In the same live stream, Shunk gives account of their relationship that clearly do not support the allegations she levied.
Yeah, this is exactly what I thought the situation is going to go. I said that, like, they're going to try to build up a story. They're going to try to build a narrative that Emiru was, like, wanted kids with Mizkif and wanted so-and-so with Mizkif and wanted a future, but then would fucking say that she looked back on the situation with a very inaccurate lens. That's the narrative that they're going to go with here.
For example, in her own description of the purported sexual assault, Shunk stated that she and Renato were kissing. He tried to initiate intercourse. She made clear she did not want to, and he stopped and respected the line that she had drawn.
So what's really bad about this is, yeah, in a vacuum, I thought I didn't have enough information. So my original take on this before I made the video, I don't think it was a good take. I'm not proud of it. I didn't think it was sexual assault at the time, but I didn't have enough information. So I withheld from giving a full take on it. But, like, obviously, like, if somebody's crying and then you try to, like, reach down in their fucking pants while they're crying, like, why does somebody crying suddenly turn you on? Like, what? That's, like, weird. Like, why would that, like, why would the next reasonable course of action be to try to have sex or basically try to rape them, essentially? Because that's what Mizkif tried to do in that situation. Like, you're not even going to ask if she was okay. Apparently, he didn't even ask if she was okay, and he lied about that. And yeah, he pretty much, there's also video proof of Mizkif basically admitting that part of it. But I don't know how in a court of law this is going to work. I feel like a lot of it is going to narrow down to he said, she said. So I don't know if Mizkif is going to get, I don't think anything is going to come from that from a court of law legality standpoint, unfortunately. But yeah.
And the quotations are, he started kissing me in the face and I let him do it. And then he tried to climb on top of me and I aggressively shoved his hand down my pants and I screamed. And when I screamed, he jumped off me like a cat.
Yeah, and obviously she was still crying like this. It was very, yeah, that's fucking crazy work.
Nonetheless, she continued to defame Renato and portray him as a perpetrator of sexual assault in a video.
I mean, that would be sexual assault, just to be clear. It was non-consensually, like, grabbing her, and she was crying, and they weren't even dating at this point either. They weren't even, like, a couple together, like, either. So
she knew full well it would be viewed by millions. That very same day, OTK sent Renato a letter purporting to terminate his interest in the company. OTK claimed it was entitled to do so based on the nature of Emiru's allegations. Emiru is the handle under defendant Shunk, operates her streaming and content creation business. OTK's letter is attached here to as Exhibit A. This letter asserted a number of purported breaches of the owner's agreement. No such breaches occurred. Nonetheless, OTK asserted that it was reclaiming Renato's 1.1 million shares of OTK without payment.
This letter asserted that... Okay. So, I'm wondering, my big question is, why didn't Mizkif sue them for this sooner? Like, they clearly didn't make this, like, clearly this was something that was happening for a while, but Mizkif didn't have a problem with it until Emiru came out with her allegations and everybody stopped associating with Mizkif. So why the hell didn't he sue them for this sooner? That doesn't really make sense to me. You're just, like, adding this in here, like, last second, I guess.
This letter further asserted Renato owed amounts in excess of $600,000 to Mythic for management fees relating to purported breaches that did not occur. Through OTK, Mythic demanded repayment of these allegedly owed fees. Further, the letter falsely asserted Renato violated his agreement with King, purported to reclaim Renato's 93,000 shares of stock in King, and demanded payment of $296,000 as a result of
Dude, it really just feels like he's adding this in last second. Like, this is clearly, like, he's obviously referencing events that have happened in OTK for the past, like, maybe several years at this point. So, like, why, if he had a problem with it back then, why didn't he just fucking sue them for that back then? Why didn't he do something about it back then? He had the money back then. Why didn't he do it then? If it was truly a problem. And this is going to be like a huge self-report for Mizkif here, that he's just adding this into the defamation lawsuit for the sake of it. Because it's like, this really, like, already you don't have a case against Emiru. There's a lot of things that you can't prove that she, like, thoroughly defamed you. You can't prove that thoroughly. But with this is, like, just something that's, like, completely unrelated to defamation entirely. And it feels like you're just adding this in. I don't know if Mizkif's lawyer is terrible, or if Mizkif gave him an inaccurate retelling of what actually happened, or what. But, like, either way, like, Mizkif is really gonna fucking financially, like, ruin himself. Like, everything about Mizkif is just gonna be completely fucked after this lawsuit. Like, he is actually gonna really... The only person that is going to undo Mizkif in this situation is Mizkif.
The breaches that, again, did not occur. Mythic, King, and OTK made no serious investigation or inquiry into the basis for or truths of Shunk's allegation before repudiating their agreements with...
Didn't they already know before the allegations came out? Like, Asmongold already knew about the allegations behind the scenes, and, like, several other people from OTK knew about the allegations before the allegations came out. What do you mean? They made no serious investigation or inquiry? Why would it be... What?
Plaintiffs. Indeed, Mythic, King, and OTK did not even ask Renato for comment or any information in his possession disproving the allegations.
Because he had nothing.
Instead, a few days after Shunk's defamatory livestream, OTK, perpetuating the defamation, put out a statement on X, formerly known as Twitter, that it fully support its co-owner and sister Emiru and stands by her side and admires her strength in coming forward and sharing her story. In this statement, OTK falsely claimed it had terminated its relationship with Renato some time ago for reasons unrelated to the recent events.
Dude, Mizkif is fucked. He is just, that is just a straight up lie. If Asmongold, who's one of the, like, runners of OTK, and I'm sure Asmongold is not going to say much about it. I'm pretty sure I saw Asmongold say he's not going to talk much about this legally. And that's actually pretty smart from Asmongold to not talk about this legally. He's actually very smart to do that. But, like, obviously OTK released a statement saying that he had been gone from OTK for a while. And Asmongold also corroborated that, like, he had been gone from OTK for a while. And, like, here's the thing, like, Asmongold has lied several times. I don't think he would lie about this. Like, I'm pretty certain that Asmongold hasn't, like, I don't think he would lie on behalf of OTK. And I've seen the way Asmongold talked about this. Like, he's been very careful with his wording. He says, like, I think and I believe this happened or whatever. Like, he is very careful with, like, his wording of things. So, like, I don't think that's the reason Asmongold would even be sued. Dude, the reason why I think Mizkif is so fucked because of the unrelated to recent events, if they're able to prove that Mizkif has been out of OTK unrelated to Emiru, that really fucks up this entire reason that they're getting sued here. And Mizkif he's fucked. He's fucked. This is, like, actually a huge shattering and a huge lie that Mizkif is trying to run. I'm surprised a lawyer even looked at this and okayed it.
Hoyt, who streams under the handle Asmongold, is a part owner of OTK. Since Shunk's livestream, Hoyt has continuously defamed Ronaldo on a near daily basis. He has claimed inter alia Ronaldo should be in jail, claimed he was abusing and manipulating others, hurting others, and becoming an aggressor.
I mean, there is video proof of Mizkif with a... If they play the video proof of Mizkif, like, if they play all the different clips of Mizkif abusing other people, like, what is it? He, like, shaved Maya's head, which I think was, like, for stream content, but then he smacked her on the back of the head aggressively. And if they, like, show Mizkif, like, punching holes in walls or, like, punching the background of, like, Emiru's stream and stuff, and if they're able to, like, prove that Emiru's story tracks and that Mizkif has, like, small bits and pieces that prove that he has very violent tendencies and very aggressive tendencies, he's fucked. I don't think they're going to have much trouble with this case at all. Like, I actually think for Emiru and Asmongold and the rest of OTK, this is going to be a slam dunk for them. There's no shot Mizkif wins this.
Example, in a live stream that has since been uploaded to YouTube where it garnered 1.9 million views as the date of this filing, Hoyt states directly that Ronaldo was the aggressor and abuser in the relationship with Shunk. Hoyt would then qualify his statement by saying, at least allegedly, but disclaim that disclaimer itself by saying he has to say that for legal reasons.
Yeah, I mean, you could obviously interpret that as, like, whenever you say that you have to say something for legal reasons, that could be interpreted as, like, a dog whistle and into saying that these are true, you know? Like, that could be saying, like, implying that, like, oh, they're true, but I have to say it for legal reasons. So I don't know if that's an argument you can make in court. You know, obviously, I don't think that's going to matter for this case, but, like, you could make the argument that if you say, like, for legal reasons I have to say this, you're implying whatever the, your statement is intending to imply, we'll say.
Has on a near daily basis reaffirmed the truth of Shunk's allegations before his millions of followers. Hoyt also claimed on his live stream that there was another, again unspecified, act of misconduct that was the reason Ronaldo was removed from OTK. This is in direct contrast to OTK's own account as provided in its letter of October 24. Hoyt falsely accused Ronaldo of threatening Shunk's employees at TwitchCon, a recent streaming convention.
I could have sworn that, like, other people corroborated Asmongold's claims about that, where Mizkif was, like, threatening Shunk's, like, employees or, like, other manager or whoever, saying, like, hey, if she comes forward with this, I will create a smear campaign of how she, like, kills her rabbits or whatever.
Hoyt has enriched himself personally by advertising revenues and subscription fees garnered from his smear campaign against Ronaldo. Even some of Hoyt's own viewership noted that he was drama baiting for views.
That's unrelated to the allegations, though. Jesus Christ, dude. I really want to know the lawyer that fucking wrote this and thought, hey, this is okay. It's probably some boomer lawyer. It's probably some fucking, like, Bernie Sanders ass lawyer that's just, like, super old and has no understanding of what the internet is.
The combined coordinated actions of Shunk, Hoyt, OTK, Mythic, and King have caused serious and lasting damage to Ronaldo's personal reputation and his business. Since the defamation occurred, Ronaldo has been losing followers and subscribers on a daily basis. Ronaldo anticipates the loss of existing sponsorships and increased difficulty in securing future sponsorships. Regretfully, the extreme nature of the misconduct here has compelled Ronaldo to file suit. Count 1, breach of contract, OTK and King. Plaintiffs incorporate the allegations of paragraph 1 through 32 by reference. OTK breached its ownership agreement with Ronaldo by purporting to oust him from ownership when no event of breach or default giving it authority to take such action had occurred. OTK acknowledged it took no effort to investigate the alleged breaches, claiming in its own word that OTK is not involved in nor aware of the content of such personal matter that Renato or Emiru may have with each other. Nonetheless, OTK anticipatorily breached its contract with Renato based on Shunk's allegations. Similarly, King breached...
How? How did it breach their contract by giving... That doesn't make any sense. OTK wasn't involved with Mizkif before the allegations released. It was completely unrelated. This narrative is really gonna fuck Mizkif over so badly. This is not gonna work out. There are so many things in this document that are just factually untrue. And if they, in a court of law, they determine that a lot of this is untrue and messy, Mizkif is just, he's fucked. He's actually gonna really fuck himself over in every part of his life. He's actually gonna be over once this lawsuit's done. This is stupid. This is actually like so impulsive of Mizkif to do.
Its agreement with plaintiff by purporting to divest them of their stock. Similarly, King breached its agreement with plaintiff by purporting to divest them of their stock in King when no breach or event of default permitting same had occurred. These breaches of contract have caused damage to plaintiffs by purporting to divest them of over 1 million shares of stock owned in OTK and King.
Mizkif built his platform by getting a platform from the rest of OTK as well as bringing other people down. So already the narrative here is not going to work, like, with this legal document. But more than that, saying that, like, OTK benefited from Mizkif's abuse or whatever, or these allegations, is going to be fucking crazy because, like, there's no way they would be able to fully prove that in a court of law. Especially considering Mizkif has been, like, on and off streaming, and he already, like, wasn't as popular as the rest of OTK, but was only popular during his part in OTK and his collaborations with Emiru. So I don't know if they'd be able to meaningfully prove that in a court of law.
Now, count 2, defamation. Plaintiffs incorporate the allegations of paragraph 1 through 37 of the complaint. Defendants Shunk and Hoyt have repeatedly published untrue defamatory statements concerning Renato to an audience of millions, painting him as a rapist, domestic abuser, and emotional abuser.
I just don't understand how Mizkif can confidently run this narrative in a court of law. I don't see this holding up whatsoever. And you would need, like, the scummiest lawyer. You would need, like, Saul Goodman. I don't even know if Saul Goodman could help you get out of this one, bud. Like, Saul Goodman would have to really, really weasel his way or create some, like, fake evidence to make sure you get out of this one, because this is the most damning piece of evidence regarding the Emiru Mizkif situation is definitely, I mentioned it earlier in this video, but it's like over the course of, like, 7 or 8 months, Mizkif would, like, message Emiru and, like, say, like, Emmy, can we talk, or whatever, and that could be seen as, like, a form of harassment. And, like, I don't know, if I was a lawyer and I was trying to defend OTK or defend Emiru, we would start with, okay, how are we going to explain to the court of law that he would berate Emiru and berate other people for doing better than he did, right? And even if it was just Emiru, you could still build that case because he literally there's text proof that he got mad at Emiru for playing the same class as him in WoW, which is fucking crazy. And then you have, like, you know, you could use that to be like, okay, he feels a little bit entitled. So if he feels entitled in this regard and he feels entitled to OTK, not to mention I'm pretty sure there's a clip that exists actually of Mizkif saying, you know, like, I don't need OTK, OTK needed me or whatever. It shows that he has entitlement. You know, you have to, like, show all these different things of entitlement. That's what I would be doing. I'd be showing clips of him that make him seem entitled. And so if he's entitled there, okay, how do you not know he's not going to be entitled regarding romance or sexual interest or abuse or anything in that vein, right? That's what I would be doing if I was the lawyer for OTK or Emiru.
These statements were made with actual malice. Shunk and Hoyt knew at the time that they published these statements that they were false. unbelief and information. Shunk and Hoyt knew that they stood to benefit from Renado's ousters from OTK and the associated companies, and coordinated the timing of these statements to maximize the injury inflicted to plaintiffs.
Dude, Mizkif is fucked. I don't really have much else to say. This is a slam dunk for Emiru and Asmongold. There's like nothing else. Like, I really don't think that this is going to hold up in a court of law.
These statements have caused severe damage to plaintiff's reputation and business, and have caused severe emotional distress and mental anguish. Now,
wasn't Mizkif already in a lot of mental anguish and emotional distress prior to these allegations coming out anyway? Like, it wouldn't necessarily... I don't know if you can prove that in a court of law either.
Count 3, declaratory judgment for OTK, Mythic, and King. Plaintiffs incorporate the allegations of paragraph 1 through 41 of the complaint. An actual controversy exists between plaintiff, OTK, Mythic, and King concerning the purported breaches that defendants allege plaintiffs committed, and the efficacy of defendants' attempts to unlawfully divest plaintiffs of their interests in the companies. An actual controversy exists between plaintiffs, OTK, Mythic, concerning the amounts demanded by OTK and Mythic for unlawful management fees, which are neither due nor owing. An actual controversy exists between the plaintiffs and OTK concerning the wrongfully accelerated promissory note, which OTK had no legal basis to make demand upon. The court has jurisdictions to issue declaratory statement judgment under 28 USC 2001. Now, the attorney fees. Based on the actions of OTK, Mythic, and King, Renado has been forced to retain the undersigned counsel to protect his interests and his accruing legal fees. Pursuant to Texas 38001, Renado and Mizkif Enterprises are entitled to recover their reasonable and necessary attorney fees. They are further entitled to attorney fees under Texas 37009 in connection with the declaratory relief sought. Plaintiffs further claim any entitlement to attorney fees that they may have at law or in equity.
So this is just like regular like legal jargon that like, you know, blah blah blah, you know, the attorneys are entitled to so and so, and this is just like basic legal jargon, so I can't really commentate too much on this. I'm not like a huge legal expert, but that's like, I think I've pretty much given like the best take I could on the situation, because it's like, I don't think Mizkif has anything here. I think Mizkif is going to destroy himself with this lawsuit.
And the damages are reputational harm, loss of business and goodwill, loss.
He already lost his like business partnership with OTK a while before the Emiru accusations. I'm really trying to understand like how they can even prove that meaningfully in a court of law.
Of earning, loss of future earning potential, emotional distress, and
He was already emotionally distressed before this situation.
mental anguish. Now, conclusion and prayer. Wherefore premises considered, plaintiff Renado and Mizkif Enterprise prayed this honorable court after trial enter judgment against defendant, awarding plaintiff for damages and reasonable and necessary attorney fees, pre and post judgment interest, declaring that OTK King and Mythic has no claims against plaintiff, declaring that OTK King attempt to divest plaintiffs of their interest in the companies at issue were ineffective as a matter of law, and granting such other and further relief as to which plaintiffs may prove themselves entitled at law or in equity. So that's the entire lawsuit. Now, what do I think about all this? When it comes to the breach of contract and all that stuff, I cannot speak on that. I have no clue whatsoever. We would have to know the terms of their original contracts to see.
I think I could be totally wrong. I'm pretty sure OTK came back with like a counter document. I don't know like the legal term, but they came out with like their own legal document, or one of the attorneys did anyways. So I don't know. It could be. Dude, Mizkif is just fucked, though. I know I keep saying that, but Mizkif is just not, like... I don't see this holding up in a court of law.
If he violated any of those terms. So, I don't know. But when it comes to defamation, from my understanding, it looks like he confessed on his stream. So, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's going to go very far.
Yeah, I mean, he basically admitted to being abusive several times on stream. Like, he impulsively responded. And so, like, this lawsuit is obviously, like, a last resort because he's lost just about everything else other than money. if he really wanted to salvage his life, I would have just taken the L on this and used that money to, like, do better in life. I don't fucking know, man. Like, that's what I would have done, personally. But instead, he really wants to go through with this, and I don't think it's going to end up the way he thinks it will.
And at the end of the day, Emiru and especially Asmongold, they're loaded. So it's not like they're not going to be able to hire an attorney. They will be able to defend themselves. To me, this kind of looks pointless, but at the end of the day, he's back.
It's a huge waste of money from both parties. Like, it's a huge fucking waste of time and money, this entire lawsuit.
Up in a corner, he doesn't really have many moves to make, and he thought that this would be the way out. Now, I just wanted to show you guys the entire lawsuit so you have all the context on what's really happening here. Now, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, because we are almost at 100,000 subscribers. At this point, we're just missing about 5,000. Thank you so much in advance, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
Yeah, man. Cool stuff.